Oh, yeah. We have some Herb Albert for you and rise to the occasion this morning because it's the External Bum Show right here on your social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platforms. All right. My name's Ralph Williams. This is the External Bum Show. I have JT Toth from Draft 412, now known as Draft Nation, and Scott Morganroth from the South Florida Tribune. And we'll be joined by Leo Haggerty momentarily. And he's from Amped Up Sports. Good morning, guys. It's great to have you here for the External Bum Show. JT, start off with give everybody your information.
www.draftnation.com. Good morning, everybody, by the way. Sorry, that was a little rude. www.draftnation.com. JT at draft412.com if you'd like to get a hold of me. We have a big NFL draft party April 25th at Stage AE here in Pittsburgh, benefiting the Aaron Donald Foundation. We also have a book out there, Pirates Prospects. Get on there. Pirates Minor League 2024. Get out, buy it. Has everything you need to know about the Pirates minor league system. And the Pirates are 1-0. They're on pace for 162-0 season. So lock in for that. But that's it. I mean, just get on there, check out the draft prospects. You'll find football, NBA. We're getting baseball set up now and hockey. So it's all about the draft nation.
All right, Scott Morganroth.
Well, I got to tell you, JT, you did go to Sarasota and Bradenton, right?
Yes.
Did you realize that Disney World is not there, right?
I didn't go to Disney World.
No, you got to understand. You got to realize that Disney World has always been in Orlando. So if you want to dream of the Pittsburgh Pirates going 162-0, okay, then I would strongly advise you to go to Disney World, and all your dreams will come true in Orlando, not Bradenton. With that said, Scott Morganroth, okay, here, www.southfloridatribune.com, YouTube channel. Please subscribe at Tribune South. And most of all, I have a book, okay, called Lessons from the Microphone, tuning into the enduring wisdom of visionary leaders. Getting a little tongue-tied there. Available. My wife is laughing in the background. She's got Good Friday off, by the way. That's why it's good, because she's hanging around. But it's on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and Kindle, and we're working on more and more distribution partners. So I'm having a blast today with all of these little tongue-tied things. But this book here is available. Anybody can learn from this book. I don't care if you're in the media or you're not in the media, okay? If you want to learn about what we are, okay, and those people don't have nice things to say about us, go ahead, read it. If you want to just learn, because like Sergeant Schultz would say in Hogan's Heroes, and I know nothing. When you get done with this book, I can guarantee you will know something. Okay. So anyways, it's a good buy, and I hope everybody goes out there and checks it out. You can find it on Amazon. Lessons from the Microphone, tuning into the enduring wisdom of visionary leaders. I love the way wisdom and visionary throw me off. All right. So.
All right. We're in the I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scott.
No, there you have it.
All right. We're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios. Call Mata today. You ought to call Mata 724-201-0500. Now, our first segment here, our bum segment, where each of us tells everyone here what bum that we have for today. And that segment's brought to you by Sleep Pittsburgh, 8th Avenue, Homestead. Call them today, 412-462-7858. They have the best prices on mattresses, day beds, futons, and more. And also you can locate them on sleeppittsburgh.com. Chat with someone with an experienced rep there who will get you set up. And if you need some financing, They have no credit check financing as well. Sleep Pittsburgh for the best sleep tonight. All right, guys, our bums for today. I'm going to start off. Mine is Paris Ford, who is a former Pitt player, was in the NFL briefly and recently with the USFL. He just got involved in a shooting and just turned himself in. And he was on the run like Cam Sutton. We're going to talk about athletes in crime later on today here on the External Bum Show. Scott, you're a bum.
I got to go with Draymond Green. Really? This guy went to anger management, and what did he learn? Well, if you were hashtagging this show, I would tell you to put John Banner or obviously Sergeant Schultz, because apparently Draymond Green knows nothing, because this guy hadn't learned. He's a detriment. This guy is an absolute loose cannon is what he is. He gets ejected with 2 technical fouls, says the next day, yeah, I deserve it. You know what, Draymond, when are you ever going to learn? You know, they need you on the court, not in the locker room, the Golden State Warriors, that is. You know what? The more and more that he continues to act like this, the more and more I lose respect. And the sadder part about it is a great defensive player and does a lot of great things. You know, maybe not the most prolific scorer, but defense and rebounding is what he does. But he's wasting talent here because he can't keep his temper under control. Draymond Green, you earned it.
There you go. All right, JT, you're bum.
What did they say, Scott? That great minds think alike. That was my bum, is Draymond Green as well.
I'm glad I went before you, but I'm glad the one thing you did learn on a couple of my shows, though, GMTA, Great Minds Think Alike. I hope you learned a few other things, but continue on.
Yeah, I will. I'm buying your book, by the way, so maybe I will learn a couple things. But
you might end up in there next year. It depends if you make a rebound on the network. We'll see what happens, man. I'm writing a part 2, man. We'll see.
But I'll tell you what. I agree with you. He's one of them guys that to me, he's not like as bad as like a Dennis Rodman was back in the day, where I started to despise the guy. I don't hate Draymond Green. I don't despise the guy, but he always seems to just get in these situations, man. And I've seen pictures and videos. Steph Curry looked upset. I mean, it's starting to, this team is struggling right now. They're not the old Golden State Warriors we're used to. And this guy, and you're right. I mean, box score wise, he's not going to score 20 a game, but he's going to do so much on defense and so much to help the team out that it's detrimental to that team right now. And I got to go with Draymond Green as well. It's a good pick.
Well, let me tell you this, okay? First of all, Dennis Rodman was my friend back in the days with the Bad Boys, so you might as well call me a bum, but I knew Dennis Rodman better than most people. Every time I needed an interview, he was there. We got to know each other real well. I mean, as a reporter, you find your favorites in the locker room. You really, really do. And Dennis and I got along exceptionally well during the Bad Boys era, and he did the things that you just alluded to. You follow me? So Draymond Green to me is just you might as well go over to Cape Canaveral, because you can shoot him off like a cotton picking rocket, and hopefully he doesn't come down like the Space Shuttle Columbia. I don't mean anything disrespectful to that, but this guy is just that type of individual. You can shoot him up on a rocket. You never know where Draymond Green's going to go.
All right, guys. Leo Haggerty has joined us. Leo, welcome to the program. Tell us a little bit about yourself and then your bum for today.
You know, first of all, happy Good Friday to everybody. And, a lot of people, it may be a good Friday, but it's a sad Friday. But the way I rectify it is you had to get to the resurrection somehow. And sad thing is, God had to die. So it was not a pretty death, but he is risen on Sunday. So my bum, honest to God, is the Catholic Church. And here's why. Does anybody know why, what determines Easter Sunday? This is crazy. It's nothing religious. It's the first Sunday following the full moon of the spring solstice. Is that the craziest thing in the world? Nothing religious. I just don't understand why we don't change Christmas, right? Why don't we just make the first Sunday of April Easter? It would be so much easier. So, yeah, Catholic Church is my bum today.
Well, you're going to go there. You might as well say the thing about Hanukkah. Okay, and here's the deal. Okay?
Exactly. Oh, you were all over it there, Scott. All over it.
Well, first of all, you think I'm going to say my birthday is 4 days after Hanukkah when the darn thing changes? No. Okay, here's the deal. My birthday is December 29th, okay? And Hanukkah, you know, I got to tell you guys a funny story about Hanukkah. You know when I knew about Hanukkah one time? When I was covering a Detroit Pistons and Miami Heat game over the American Airlines Arena, and they had one of them rabbis, is that what they call them in Jewish? It shows you I'm a
Yes, they do.
that knows absolutely nothing. Okay, but so I had to find out about Hanukkah at a basketball game, an NBA game featuring the Pistons and the Heat. I didn't know, but you know what? I love my birthday 4 days after Christmas because I'll tell you, I couldn't have dreamed this thing up. My mom and dad, who knows if they did, but whatever they did, and they decided to go ahead and take care of business. They managed to find a way to give me a dream week, man. I never went to school on my birthday. I did take a driver's test on there and told the woman one of two things that can happen on my birthday. One, we get killed, or two, you pass me, and I had a blizzard. Okay, so I passed, and she took my advice, and I proceeded to run a red light that day. To this day, my dad never let me hear the end of it. But no, okay, but here's the deal, okay? You are so right, Leo. You are way on it, brother. And yes, I have this early in the morning. Okay, I usually Jeremy Ballrick is known for loading up on that stuff. But here's the thing: you are so right. They should have Easter every single time. And maybe Jesus is risen, but apparently he has been fallen because they haven't figured out the calendar yet. You know, they really haven't. My wife is looking right now to the right. So what is going on with this guy? I mean, he's going ballistic early. He's got a long day yet. But no, you're right. Easter should be on the same day every year. Good Friday should be on the same thing. You know, that's all there is to it. I mean, and you know, now Good Friday you can move around because obviously Fridays are what they are. But Christmas is just Christmas, you know. So I agree. So you know, I realize now I thought you were gonna nail Ralph as a bum because he had a Good Friday show instead, but you were nice to
me. Well, you know what I figured
I'm just
Ralph,
trying to keep it consistent. That's all.
Yeah, well,
I'm sorry.
Ralph, I figured you having the show. I'm making sure I'm at church right now because I figured the lightning bolt will strike all four of us somewhere.
Yeah. So I always say I have a better chance of getting struck by lightning than some things in my life, but that's beside that. All right, guys, we're going to get into our show here. The NCAA tournament, we're down to the starting to get down with the Sweet 16 here, and this segment's brought to you in part by draft412.com and Live Nation. Check out their magazine, $9 a month, and get into the inbox on your email. $9 a month. Check out draft412.com/draftnation. All right. Clemson 77, Arizona 72. That was a good game. This was a blowout. UConn and San Diego State. And then we had Alabama beat North Carolina. And I thought North Carolina was going to move on, but that didn't happen. And then Illinois squeaked it out against Iowa State 72-69. Alabama 89, UNC 87. Guys, your thoughts on these games? Leo, we'll start with you.
You know what, guys? And I'm going to go back. I said last week, Clemson has a team. If they bring their A game, they can beat anybody. But if they don't bring their A game, they could lose to anybody. And I'll tell you what, Arizona, they look like they never saw a zone defense in their life. It was crazy. It was the most poorly coached game I've ever seen in NCAA tournament. I mean, Clemson's playing this daggum pick-up 3-2 zone, and Arizona has no clue. North Carolina, they got into a shooting match with Alabama. I think there was probably 65 threes between the two of them put up. And if North Carolina would have just pounded that puppy inside, because they had Baycott in there, but they got into, okay, we're going to shoot threes with you. You don't want to shoot threes with Alabama? They're the fourth best three-point shooting team in the country. Illinois, guys, it's the sleeper. They've got talent. They'd be probably the hottest team going, Iowa State, going into the tournament. And I'll tell you what, I feel sorry for my buddy Brian Dutcher. out of San Diego State, he had to draw Connecticut, and Connecticut is just in fuego. They're on fire. And of course, San Diego State had to fly 3,000 miles to Boston to play Connecticut. And Connecticut had what? A 2-hour bus ride? So, yeah, I don't understand what the NCAA is doing with that. They were supposed to try to keep teams close by. Obviously, that's not the case. And San Diego State, their worst shooting game of the season. And believe me, to beat Connecticut, you better plan on getting in the 80s because they're going to get there or higher. So, yeah, I'm not surprised with that, but going to be a fun day today, too, guys.
All right, Scott.
Well, number one, who would have thought that the Clemson Tigers basketball team would overshadow the Clemson Tigers football team? But you know what? That's exactly what we have here. The Clemson Tigers are amongst the Elite Eight. Now, San Diego State, they had plenty of tape on Connecticut last year, and it didn't even matter because you know what? All we saw last night in Boston was another Boston massacre, and this time it was at the expense of the Aztecs. Think about massacre and Aztecs. Oh, my goodness, that's probably the worst Indian joke I've ever with in my life. Okay. And number two, yeah, there you go. I'll bring a little Dick Enberg into that. I'm sure he had a few of those in his day. Secondly, when you talk about the 3-point shooting situation, I think that North Carolina should have had Jack Golke in there that one time that he hit 10 3-pointers. Of course, he didn't win against North Carolina State, but forget about that. Okay. You know, Oakland made a lot of money just to get where they did. But if North Carolina would have had Jack Golke, who knows? I've seen crazier things happen. Could they? I never thought they would win it all anyhow. And the last game, Illinois, don't like you guys say, don't go ahead and sleep on these guys. So, the Big Ten is doing pretty well this year. And I have to say that, even the Michigan Wolverines, for as bad a year as they did, they're making noise in March Madness with the expected hiring of Dusty May that I predicted about 10 days ago would occur, and indeed it did. Why am I bringing that in? We're talking Big Ten basketball during March Madness, and that hire was made during March Madness. So, it'll be interesting. I've actually thought that Houston would win it all. That's my prediction.
All right. My prediction still is NC State. So, JT, your thoughts on last night's games?
Scott, you're starting to scare me. I have Houston winning it all too. So we're
I like scaring you, JT. My God, you're wearing
today.
a Pirates hat. You scare me every time you wear a Pirates hat.
Hey,
But go
1-0, 1-0, 1-0. And they came back. They came back.
It's only the Marlins, man.
Hey, they came back after being down by 3 runs late in the game. I'll take it. I'll take it early in the year. I agree with both of you guys. The 4 teams that won yesterday are all unique, and I wouldn't be shocked if any of them 4 go through. I have UConn and Houston. Scott, I hope that's not your final too, but I have UConn versus Houston in the NCAA final. I really think Alabama is a sneaky kind of team. That 6'11" kid, Grant Nelson, 24 points. And they got really good. They're starting 5, 24, 18, 19, 19. They play North Carolina very well. I never thought North Carolina was as good as a number 1 seed. As much as I love the ACC, and I complained last week about the ACC getting snubbed. I'm loving the fact that Clemson is running through right now, because that was one of the teams I compared Pitt to that didn't get in. Not that I'm going to harp on that anymore, but the games today, I'm really interested in. Duke, Houston. That's a great matchup.
Creighton in Tennessee, that's the late game, JT. And then we got Gonzaga and Purdue, and
Yeah.
NC State. Yeah, NC State's my team.
Yeah, and Gonzaga Purdue is going to be a phenomenal game. To see if they find a way to stop Edey, which nobody has yet. And Gonzaga just has a ton of talent around that team. So today's going to be a very fun day. And like I said last week, this is the greatest time in the sports world. We got everything going on right now. We got hockey playoffs getting close. We got NBA playoffs getting close. We got the tournament. We got baseball starting. Football free agency getting into the draft. Can't ask for anything more as a sports fan. So look for 4 good games today. That's all I can say about that.
Well, if you're in our industry, okay, and you're covering college sports, you got spring football games too. So I'm
Yep.
on the hook for at least, I believe, 2 of them. FAU and the Miami Hurricanes are the 2 I'm looking forward to. Sprinkling in a little bit of baseball and whatever else comes my way. So, at this point in my life, as I begin to write books and all that, I'm looking for unique ideas for part 2 of Lessons from the Microphone. So, yeah, it'll be a busy time of the year. And of course, well, we're gearing up for the NFL draft. We're hoping to get it approved there. Right now we're working on it. But the NFL draft is coming out soon, as you well know, JT, with all this stuff that you're researching to put in your guide.
Yeah, April 13th, I'm going to the Pitt spring game, the blue gold game, and you're right. I just came back from a baseball game last week, Pitt, Virginia. Got to see one of the best shortstops in the country for Virginia. So it's a great time of the year right now for sports. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and guys, I'll be going to the USF spring game on the 13th, and I'll tell you what, you're right. This is you're in sports heaven if you're a media member, and you know what, Ralph, I might as well cover the games today while I have it now. And guys, I'm going to pat myself on the back if Purdue wins this thing, because if you look at the math, and I encourage my listeners and readers, always do the math. There have been 2 times a 16 seed beat a 1 seed.
Right.
Once was Virginia. What happened the following year? Virginia won the national championship. What happened last year? Purdue got beat. Purdue is on a mission. And I have Purdue and UConn in the final. I think it's a coin flip because, to be honest, you know how Gonzaga beats Purdue today? They do what everybody else is doing. You foul Edey every time he touches the ball and hope the referees don't call it, because it really is become that. It's like you remember Hack-a-Shack? This is fouling Edey, but I think Purdue survives. I'll tell you what, the Creighton Tennessee game should be phenomenal, because Creighton felt like they got hosed last year on a very questionable call late against San Diego State on a shooting foul in the last 2 or 3 seconds. So, yeah, that's going to be a great game. Houston, Duke. If the referees let that game be played and not look at Duke and say, okay, this is Coach K's team. No. If they let Houston play, I don't think there's a more athletic team in the country than the Houston Cougars. And if they can get up and down the floor, look out. That'll be amazing. And the last one, Ralph, I hate to do this to you, but I think NC State, that ride comes to an end today.
Well, Leo, let me just mention this to you. I like your logic on the Purdue game. I really do, because usually
wait a second. You're saying I'm right twice today? Oh, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what? I'm delusional, but it's Good Friday, and I've already had my opportunity to have fun with God and Moses and all the other people that are involved in all this business. So, but the reality of the situation, no, I like your logic there. I really, really do. And the reality of the situation is Purdue, when you get humbled by 116, they're not, you can't sink any lower than that. No, it's only happened a couple of times. So, and then I wish I was there for the USF spring game, but I have a lot on my plate down in these parts. But I am planning to get up there, hopefully a couple of times during the regular season, to get up there as well, especially with the Miami game. So didn't mean to interrupt you, Ralph, but when things are rolling off your tip of your tongue and you got to throw it out there, you have to do it, and that's exactly what we just did.
That's fine. We have a good show all across the board here. I think I'm still sticking with NC State. I think they're the Cinderella story here. They came up from having a bad year to winning the ACC tournament, and now they won some games. And I think they're going to win. And not only that, I'm a big Raleigh is one of my second cities that if I could, I would live there today. It's one of my favorite places. So,
and you know what, Ralph? Talk about history repeating itself. Does this look like the Valvano go to the championship game? That same NC State team comes from nowhere.
Yeah, I know.
I'll tell you what.
Absolutely.
What scares me is if you don't get NC State this week, you may not get them for a while, because you're going to have one bad game. But, you hope that your bad game, the other team is having their off night too. It's like San Diego State last night. They had a bad shooting night, but Connecticut, they brought their A game. You're just not going to beat anybody with your B game when somebody else has their A game right now.
Well, bear in mind, though, that the NC State basketball coach did get a contract extension, as I understand it. So,
Yes.
So as long as the guy got in a contract extension and they're happy where the program's going, that's good. I mean, I always like to see NC State do well because they're obviously the little brother of North Carolina. Of course, they're in the Duke. If you've ever been around that triangle, and I did actually take a ride through it, it's pretty neat how 3 campuses. Yeah, it's a really nice part of the state. But yeah, we went there. It's pretty neat. I saw the Duke Stadium.
Wake Forest too, Scott.
But that's a couple hours away though, Ralph, out Winston-Salem. I'm talking within about half.
Hey, Ralph,
within a 30-minute distance. Sorry, Leo. Go ahead.
No, I want Ralph. Scott, I want to ask you a question. Were you surprised Dusty didn't go last year? That he stuck around for another year?
No, I wasn't surprised. I knew in my mind that he felt he had a good enough team to win it all this year. Everybody felt that way in these parts. They really did. But when he got knocked out early, then I knew when the Michigan job was opening, he was going there. It didn't take a rocket scientist, Leo, to figure this one out. How in the heck can you not get, if you have an opportunity to go to the University of Michigan, you have to go, period. Okay. I know, it's like when somebody's calling you, you just have to go no matter what. And Dusty knew that. But the one thing intangible, though, you have to understand, though, guys, is this. He coached at Eastern Michigan for a year as an assistant. So he was familiar with the area. Obviously was a graduate assistant at Indiana, and he wanted to get back in the Big Ten. And I don't care what anybody says. To me, Michigan is number 1 in the Big Ten, no matter what. Forget Ohio State. Nothing against the people in Ohio and all that, but Michigan is the class of the Big Ten. When you talk about the Big Ten, what's the first school that comes to mind? Michigan. Why? All-time winningest program in Division I football history, right? And now this year, Jim Harbaugh left it in better shape, and they win a national championship. So Dusty May will embrace the M block. And no, I think Dusty wanted to weigh his options, but he felt that he had a good team that he could get back and finish the job with experience. If his instinct said, I wasn't ready to go. So they gave him a 10-year contract that I knew he would only live through 1 year of it. At $1 million, and the Wolverines gave him, $3.75 million. So it didn't take a rocket scientist to do it. So.
All right, guys, we're going to get into it. And this topic is brought to you by Fold and Travel Mobility. If you're a handicapped person, as I am, in a wheelchair, and you need a folding power chair so you can go to certain events or get around or make your life better, call Fold and Travel Mobility today at 1-877-926-6982. That's 1-877-GOT-FOLD, 1-877-GOTFOLD, and also foldandtravelmobility.com. Chat with the experts, 20 years of experience in folding power wheelchairs, Fold and Travel Mobility. Okay, our next topic is baseball. Opening day was yesterday. Some games were rained out already. Others were played. We'll start with you, JT. Pirates versus the Marlins.
Yeah, I've talked about it a couple of times. I'm down 5-2. Got to see O'Neal Cruz hit a opposite field bomb. I think this kid's power if he stays healthy, man. I mean, he barely even got the whole bat on it. Hit out of left center field. Brian Reynolds looked good. The bullpen actually looked really good. I know it's one game. I mean, one game is one game in baseball. If you're dumb enough to say, "Oh, this team's going to be really good now," that's I ain't that dumb. I'm still shooting for 80 to 82 wins. I think is the ceiling for this team. But it was a great game to watch. Baseball in general yesterday was awesome. Juan Soto ending the game with a throw out at the plate for the Yankees. I got to see a little bit of that. I got to watch the Ranger game last night. They walked off. I can't remember who they played now. But Jonah Heim had a
played the Cubs, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, it was the Cubs. He walked off. Thank you. And it was great because Jonah Heim, the inning before, thought the guy fouled the ball off and argued with the umpire. Didn't go after the ball, and the guy scored from third, which would have won the game for the Cubs. But the Rangers tied it up in the ninth with a homer by Travis Jankowski, and then they walked them off in extra innings. It was an enjoyable game, the Pirate game, because it went to extra innings. It went to 12 innings, which both teams struggled. The Pirates actually, they looked terrible running the bases in extra innings. They thought Josh Bell couldn't throw a baseball because his days in Pittsburgh, he couldn't throw a baseball. So they took advantage and tried to score, and he threw two guys out at the plate, and but they held on. It was a fun opening day. I mean, just in fact to watch, and Scott will agree with this, just the fact that baseball was on all day and it counted. It's a great feeling. And baseball to me is the spring. It's life. It's life. You know, flowers are blooming here in the East. Everything's starting to come to life, and it's a great time of the year.
Scott, Marlins.
Well, I mean, what are you going to say? The way I look at the Marlins is this, okay? They just traded John Birdie to the Yankees, arguably their best base runner for a prospect. I get that. Okay, I'm not sure what direction the Marlins are really headed yet. I'm not. You know, you lose a lot of pitching, okay? You've got Sandy Alcantara gone for the year, Yuri Perez out for a while, Edward Cabrera out for a while. So you're already down in the pitching department on day one, okay? And again, you have 162 games. So to me, I don't know where their offense, how much of their offense is going to come from. I know Luis Ariz is good, Jake Berger's all right, but I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping to see him this Sunday on Easter at the ballpark. We'll see how that plays out. To me, I'm targeting that. I'm just hoping I can get there. It depends on how I feel. But why do you think I have a baseball show? Because that's one of the best sports on the planet. And it's a sport.
You do have a good show, Scott. 108 Stitches. That's a great show. So
thanks, Ralph. Yeah, I have a baseball show. It's a really good show, and I love doing it every week. So, the Marlins intrigue me. They've got Peter Bendix as their new vice president of operations, replacing Kim Ng. Skip Schumacher, obviously, to me, had a good first year. How year number two, I don't know. It depends on how the roster plays out, their pitching, their bullpen, and all that. So I actually think this series against the Pirates, to me, I've never thought an opening series would tell me a lot. I never have in my years of covering baseball. But this one between the Marlins and the Pirates will tell me a little bit more, because it is a 4-game series. The other game I was paying a slight attention to was the Tigers and the White Sox. Detroit gets a 1-0 win. Tarek Skubal goes 6 for the win. Javier Baez has been picked on all year as a contributing factor on offense. I think A.J. Hinch is ready to see the team take another turn towards getting into the playoffs. So we'll see how the Detroit Tigers play out. But the Marlins, to me, I don't know enough about them to say exactly where they're going to wind up. Of course, their attendance is going to take a little hit this year because they'll have the New York Yankees coming to town, and you don't have the Miguel Cabrera, a healthy one, of the Tigers coming to town. So to me, if they run into difficulties this year, it could be tough at the gate, but I'm not ready to discard them at 0-1. I'm not. Okay. Can't underestimate Skip Schumacher. Did an excellent job, knows how to relate to today's players. So I can give you more definitive information when I've seen the club probably 1 or 2, 3 times. But right now, the subtractions seem to overshadow, the additions right now. And I think that's the one thing that when people look at the Marlins, we're going to find out. And, Leo, you had Peter Bendix up in Tampa, so he obviously was part of an excellent organization where they developed. But we'll see if he can go ahead and translate what he's got here in Miami.
Yep.
All right, Leo, Tampa Bay Rays.
Well, not a good start for the Rays. They got beat 8-2 yesterday. Close game till the 6th inning, and then Toronto put up a 5 spot there. But guys, I want to go another direction with this. And I don't know if you've been catching what they've been talking about with either the Hollywood Reporter or with Sports Illustrated about the demise of the regional sports networks. This is really hammering baseball terribly, because a lot of their teams have regional sports contracts where they have rights to, like Bally, and Bally went under. Bally went belly up. The league had to put. What's
Right.
happening is these with the streamers, the regional sports networks, they're going under. And that's going to be a problem because baseball wanted to expand to 32 teams, but now they're just hoping they can keep the 30. Guys, are you hearing the same thing where you are in Pittsburgh and Miami?
Yes, yes. JT will back me up on this. We had a sports network that got sold, and the
AT&T.
Fenway Group, yeah, the Fenway Group just bought them, and now it's called Pittsburgh Sportsnet. It was AT&T Sports, and now the Pirates and the Penguins share the network, and it's called Sportsnet. So yeah, we've seen JT and I growing up here in Pittsburgh. We've seen some of the networks go down. I mean, we had the network now. Sportsnet's been like 10 networks. What since who knows when?
Yeah, we started with KBL. We've had
KBL, yeah, it was a bunch of them. So we've seen that here. So I understand what you're saying, Leo. And it boils down to advertising. Advertising pays the bills in broadcasting, and right now, advertising is at a minimum. I mean, companies are not spending as much money as they used to on advertising, and all these companies are getting bit in the butt. Odyssey's getting ready to file for bankruptcy, or they already have, and they're getting ready to clean house because advertising's not there to pay their people, and they overpaid for a bunch of guys that they have on these radio stations, and now they have to liquidate. So I see a firestorm coming by the end of the year here in Pittsburgh because Odyssey owns a bunch of stations here, and and I heard iHeart now is starting to cut back. So advertising pays the bills, and when it's not there, they have to go. They have to figure something out.
And you know what, Ralph and guys, here's another thing: people are cutting the cable cord, plain and simple.
Yeah.
They're going to streamers,
streaming services. I think Scott and JT will agree with us on that, Leo. I agree. It's all streaming now, and the cable company here. We have a public access channel that I had my sports show on, and they had to start charging us $50 an hour to use the studio because Verizon and Comcast cut back on the funding for this public access channel because they don't get that many cable subscribers anymore.
No.
And now, so that's Scott.
All right, let me add something to this whole thing that you guys haven't touched on yet. Number one, I believe Amazon is trying to clean up a lot of this and buy some of what they're doing. So I don't think the story, Ralph, Leo, and JT is fully complete yet. Amazon is trying to work with all these regional networks so that they can become more localized. I mean, it's a brilliant move if they do it. And I know that they will because you got Amazon Prime, and you guys have already alluded to the fact that streaming is the way to go.
Yes.
And I know that, and I'm starting to write more and more stories on it, which will feed book number 2. Because the reason why I am reading book number 2 is to try to bring people up to date where the streaming is. And all the stories I'm putting on the Tribune right now are related to a lot of what you guys have talked about. That's item number 1. So watch out for the Amazon dynamic about where it's going to go. Number 2, I had a show on the Motor City Mad Mouse show on Wednesday. I brought on my longtime colleague here in South Florida, Jeff DeForest. If you can find it on the South.
I watched it. Yes.
Did you? What did you think of it? Did you learn anything from it?
It was a great interview, and I learned some stuff from him. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I did watch it.
Yeah. The only reason I have cable right now is I live in an association where it's part of the package. Otherwise, I'm like you. I'd cut the cord. So I have a sweet deal with my association to have it. But I can, for those individuals not connected to an association that don't have it, there's no question they're going to find alternatives. But we all know streaming is. Why do you think the NFL is going to stream 2 games this year, and 1 playoff in a regular season? I think one's going on Peacock and the other one's going on Amazon, including a playoff game. So, and that's what you're doing now, Ralph. Okay, right? You're streaming.
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
that's what I've been doing for a while too. Is streaming. Right. So we all know it's part of what we're doing. So, I think that while we can sit here and say this one come back, hey, listen, ESPN's thinking of trying to get out of their baseball contract early with baseball early, which I think would be dumb. They keep putting their money into the NBA, which I think is a declining product because of load management. And the players have gone out there and turned that league into an almost, let's get back to tape delay on CBS way back in the 80s and 70s. I mean, because that league is totally unwatchable. So you folks in Pittsburgh should rejoice, okay, that you don't have an NBA team, okay? You really should. I mean, I don't know who you follow, if you bother to follow anybody, but you don't need it. But yeah, this whole industry. In fact, Jeff DeForest went out there and said on my show, and he said radio is dead.
Yeah,
And
it's
those
getting there.
work. And yet, I
Yes.
love going on radio. If I don't get me wrong, if I could find an opportunity to go on radio and do some stuff anyways to get my brand out there, I'd do it. I wouldn't pay for airtime. That'd be
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do, Scott. I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's what I'm trying to do. Is I have a radio show now, and I met with an investor yesterday for lunch, and then last night, and that's the reason I couldn't be on Fire Up, was because I was meeting with another investor on Zoom to partner up with me because I'm having issues trying to pay the bills on this radio show, and the advertisers aren't there. I mean, it's just not there anymore. And and they're not advertising in radio; they're advertising on social media, and they're getting nice rates from these marketing companies. And it's kicking me in the teeth. So
Well,
I mean,
what I've always
You know
done.
what, guys? Let me jump in here real quick because I've got a couple of insiders that have told me that Disney has been trying to sell ESPN since December of last year.
Really?
That's how much those rights fees are hammering Disney right now.
Well,
Yeah.
let me tell you what, if they're shrewd because ESPN, in my opinion, has done such a poor job overpaying commentators. Did you see what Dan Patrick said to Jason Kelsey? Don't go to ESPN, okay? Did you? I don't know if you guys heard that. Don't do it. I mean, you're not going there for Monday Night Football. They're going to put you 3, 4, 5, and they own you, okay? And there's a lot of stories, and even John Anderson has announced his retirement from SportsCenter that will take place at the end of June. So I'm not knocking ESPN. I watch it once in a blue moon. I find more joy in meditating, working on social media, creating my platform to be as good as it can be. And, for whatever the heck it's worth, okay, I'm going to tell it to you because you guys are my buds, all right, that when my Jeep goes ahead and I have to turn it in, I'm contemplating on getting a Honda Odyssey so that I can travel more and look for non-sports related content that I believe that will be more human interest. So I'll have my goal in 25 will be a 50-50 split between sports and non-sports related stuff. And this is where this whole thing could really blow up. So, you have to understand that nowadays when you deal with PR people, unless you have the ones that for example, Leo, you got a dynamite one with Brian Seagrass. This guy, to me, is the biggest class act I've ever seen. I got a couple good ones here in Miami with Cameron Gorby, who I work with on football, and Katrina McCormick, as far as I'm concerned. When it comes to the Cadillac or Rolls Royce of PR people, she is with FAU. And I have other ones I deal with. In Detroit, I've got some good ones there. I'm not going to mention them because I'm in this market, and that's why those 3 names have been mentioned up. But
real quick, I want to throw somebody under the bus. If you ever have to deal with the Citrus Bowl people, they are the worst with dealing with the media. I have never seen a group so ridiculous as those guys. It's like, well, we don't know what, and they let us know 2 hours before the game. Oh, we'll credential you. Are you kidding me? These people over there, their egos are bigger than the state of Florida. And I keep telling them, hey guys, you're the Citrus Bowl. You're Orlando. Wake up. You want people to go there and cover it.
Well, you want to get into the throw under the bus category? I'll give you one even better. Her name, she used to be in Pittsburgh, okay, and she's in South Florida, named Adeline Biedenbach. Oh, this bozo here, in my opinion. You ever her? Remember her?
Yeah, I've heard of her. Yes. Yeah, she is. You're right.
Yeah, she's the biggest bozo I've ever seen. I applied for the Red Wings in the Panthers game tomorrow. I didn't care that they're busy. The Panthers are doing something that they haven't done for a while. They're winning. So now they actually have interest, okay? And I didn't care if I went to the Wings or I didn't, okay? It would have been nice to go, but the game's on TV. But I can sure Biedenbach has got 2 things coming. One, I will see her in Detroit, where I have great relationships with the Wings. And number 2, you see this book part 2? Oh, sweetheart, I can't wait to put you in it under the PR people that are the most difficult to work with. So, yeah, I don't know if you've heard of her. But, yeah, and we worked well, all right, before. But the more I know about her, the more I just think that she's one of those types of individuals that would not qualify as an individual to me. That, you know, she's doing what she's a first of all, this woman here is doing what the Panthers are. They don't spend a lot of money on the best people. And for maybe this market, she's good. But if she were to ever go into a big market, she'd get blasted. I'll tell you what, she would get crushed by the biggest great white whale on the planet in any other market but Florida. But she's a piece of work.
All right, JT,
Hey,
your
wait a
thoughts
second,
on
Scott.
what
Can
we're
you come
talking
off the fence and tell us how you really feel about her?
Well, if you really give me more time, I could do more, but I figure I'll try to be at least. I don't know
And
if
it's
she's
good.
ever
And it's
listening
Good
to these
Friday.
shows
You
or
got to
not.
be nice.
All right.
I don't care if you listen to these shows or not. All my dealings will be with other places, and there are a lot of good PR people out there. Somehow, some way, with her and I truly believe that there's a disconnect, and really don't care, because as much as a lot of people like hockey, I believe that for me, college football, baseball, as well as other sports are okay. And there are other good hockey places to go. So, you know, it's not like I gave up on hockey, but the NHL has been difficult in terms of getting on their media distribution list. And the NFL will go out of their way to put you on there because they love to promote everything. You know, the NBA is the same way. I only deal with the places that I have the best relationships with. Otherwise, the other ones, it doesn't matter, because the way our platform is developing is we do a lot of writing. I'm bringing on a lot of people, but we're going more and more toward audio visual, because it gives our opportunity that when we write stories, Leo and JT, we just insert them in the shows inside, and you have a good 1-2 punch.
Right.
And it's working.
JT, your thoughts
on the streaming and all that.
JT, you there? Yeah. Your thoughts on what we're talking about.
I mean, I stream. I haven't paid a cable bill probably in 4 years now, and I can turn on my TV right now and watch any NBA, NHL, NFL, anything I want. I can watch. I found a way to take my Fire Stick and I pay a certain amount of money each month, which is a lot cheaper than what people are paying, and I'll never pay cable. I mean, I agree with you. The radio's dead. I don't listen to the radio here in Pittsburgh. All people do in Pittsburgh, which drives me nuts, is like Mark Madden. Look at me. Look what I said. It's all look at me kind of thing, and I hate it. I hate the fact that you tap yourself on the back when you get something right, but you don't say, hey, I got this wrong, kind of thing. And it happens all the time in Pittsburgh. And I think people that just want to listen to sports and hear sports, they don't like this.
You're right. I've been trying to be the new voice, and here we are. They're still listening to the same old voices. I call it the old boys gang.
Yeah, but it's just the fact that like Madden will be like, oh, I knew Kenny Pickett was a waste. Okay, yeah, you said that, but you said it 2 weeks ago. You didn't say it when he left it, and it's one of them things where people just change their opinions and to say, hey, look, I'm right, kind of thing. And there's no you can't listen to a Pittsburgh talk show right now and just listen to sports. Like Bob Pompiani used to be like it. Just get on there and just talk sports. This guy's struggling. Why is he struggling? Kind of thing. Not this guy stinks or Mark. People in Pittsburgh like to attack people. We had Jason Gurley getting attacked by Mark Madden. We had Hines Ward getting attacked by Mark Madden. And Madden gets the best rating.
Mark Madden attacks everybody, JT. You know that. I mean, he'd attack me if he could. He picked me for being in a wheelchair. I mean,
that's why the radio's dying. Though I think it's across the country. It's dying like that. I mean, I when I get in my car, I put on Sirius. I put on the NFL channel on Sirius. I put on.
Yeah, well, my car radio doesn't work right now. I have to take it in. Car Shield's going to pay for it. I have to take it in. My radio's not working in my vehicle, and Car Shield said they'll pay for it, so I have to go take it in. I can't listen to my I love my satellite radio in my Jeep, so I listen to it whenever I can. When my wife and I go on trips, we listen to the music on there, or we listen to sports and stuff on there. I enjoy it.
Well, you know what I do when I take trips, don't you? I go out there and I created a music playlist on YouTube, and I just go ahead and listen to those. I don't care.
You can do that too. Absolutely.
And I do, because I'm finding music when I have an opportunity to go on long extended trips. To me, especially when my wife was with me, she just plays it. She says, "Boy, you really lock in," and that's the one thing I can get you to relax without needing a Louisville Slugger or a tranquilizer. Not necessarily in that order, but yeah, no. I mean, I use my YouTube playlist is what I do, and I'll just listen to music. I mean, I personally, even though I started in sports talk radio 44 years ago. Now I don't care about opinions. I'm one of those old school guys where give me the facts or I don't even pay attention. Speculation to me is the equivalent of fake news. Okay. I'll have no part of it. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's why I'm so ecstatic. Again, I can't help myself of writing a part 2 of this thing because there's so many things I could have put in part 1. You know what I mean? That I know I'm going to make sure I get to part 2. But the thing in the reality is this. Yeah, if I had an opportunity, a radio job came my way and I could go out and do it, I'd do it. I don't care. All I'd have to focus on is just, to me, if a job was offered to me on radio, okay, hear me out, okay, I would take it. All I'd have to do is focus on the content, you market it, and I'll make it good. And that's what I'm doing here with my platform now. But I've already told you guys, I'm getting a van, and it'll be a 50-50 split, okay, between what I do next year. And I guarantee by the end of next year, if not the end of this year, the Motor City Mad Mouse show will be the best show I happen to have on my network because it's one-on-one interviews is what it is. And I love one-on-one interviews. That's all there is to it.
Yeah,
well,
Scott,
guys, we better sign up. We better sign up for a date with Scott. I'll get my calendar out, Scott, and just text me, and we'll go. All right.
Yeah,
well,
Scott,
you know what?
Scott, Leo, and JT. I want to hook up with you guys. Ralph Williams one-on-one. I'm bringing that back. I had Harry the Greek on the last show about 2 months ago, so I'm trying to bring it back. And that's my one-on-one show.
Hey, Leo. Guys, hey, listen, Leo. I'm not kidding here, man. If you don't have did I give you my business card when I was there?
Yeah, I got it. I got that in the Black Rock coupons that I'm using.
Oh, there you go. I hope they're getting some use out of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Craig is good. So what I want you to do, Leo, real quick, send me a text and I will book you. All you guys will get on the Motor City Mad Mouse show right away. But Leo, I want you to send me a text ASAP, and I will find a date for you on the Motor City Mad Mouse show after I get back from the NFL draft. Fair enough? But send me a text ASAP.
I will text you in about an hour because I'm getting ready to walk over. We're doing the Stations of the Cross here at noon. So, guys, I got to jump out. Hey,
all right, well, go ahead.
Happy Easter to everybody, and we'll see you next Friday.
Leo, we doing a show tomorrow morning or no?
You too, Leo. Good to see you again, buddy.
Yep, tomorrow morning, Ralph. I'm on it.
Okay, just making sure. All right, thank you.
Take care, guys.
All right, Leo, have a great one. Leo Haggerty, Amped Up
Happy
Sports.
Easter to all.
Happy Easter.
Thank you.
And Passover. Don't forget that either for our Jewish folks.
Okay, guys, we're going to move on to our next segment. This next segment is brought to you by the original Hometown Pizza, University Boulevard, Moon Township, 412-264-4444. Call them today. Tell them Ralph Williams sent you. They'll give you a discount on your order, some great pizza, and they also have some great sandwiches as well. Check out the original Hometown Pizza, University Boulevard, Moon Township. All right. Also, we're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios right here, 724-201-0500. Summer's coming up. Get your air conditioner taken care of. Call, ask for Bill today, 724-201-0500. You ought to call Mata. Tell them Ralph Williams sent you. All righty. Now we have our last segment of the day here on the External Bum Show. And we're going to talk about athletes that have done criminal stuff. And I want some different athletes other than we know about Cam Sutton. And,
hey, Ralph, can I make a suggestion to you, about this one? What I would do is I would schedule this for next week so we can get more involved in just 5 minutes is what I would do.
Oh, yeah, sure. Why don't we do that? And then we'll have Leo come on. And, we'll
I think so. Yeah, I mean, this topic, bro, is really loaded. It really is.
Yes.
And make sure you remind me during the week, about that, and then I'll do a little bit of research and I'll put together some names. You got too good of a topic then to waste it for 5 to 6 minutes, man.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, we'll have closing, as I call it, closing arguments here. So, JT, start with you. Closing thoughts here.
First off, I want to wish my wife happy anniversary. Our anniversary was yesterday. 26 years.
JT, I wish you would. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, 26 years she's stuck with me. Nobody thought we'd make it as we were young kids, and we had a baby right away, and all my friends were like, "You're never gonna make it." Well, as they've went through divorces over their times, I'm just saying it's 26 years later. Happy anniversary, Suzanne. My closing thoughts are: enjoy this, people. You're a sports fan. Enjoy this time. This is a great weekend. You're gonna get the Sweet 16 today, then the Elite 8 games Saturday and Sunday. We'll know our Final Four.
UFL starting up this weekend too. The UFL football league starts up this weekend.
Well, that's true too. I put that on the back burner, number 5 after all
But
this
it's
stuff. But
football. I love it.
that's not
It's
bad.
football. I don't.
No, it's not bad. But you got enjoy this weekend, guys. You got basketball, you got baseball, you got everything. Get a hold of me at www.draftnation.com. Get on there if you want to type in a football player that you think your team might take. We'll give you a rundown of what the guy has, what he can do. If you got a hockey player, basketball, baseball, we're doing everything. We got articles on our. We got a hype section now. Breaking news is on there all day long. You can basically look at our hypes and see all the breaking newses of the day, draft news that pops up during the day. I was just at the Pitt draft day, Pitt pro day the other day, and these kids are putting it on the line, man. These pro days are amazing to go to. You get to see everything that they do, running the 40s. Don't forget the name AJ Woods, a cornerback
Yeah.
from Pitt. He ran a 4.30 unofficially, but he looked very good. Very very good talent wise, and it's going to be an exciting time. But thank you, Scott. Thank you, Ralph, for the time today.
You're welcome. Hey, JT, I wanted to let you know I heard a rumor. I went around, I interviewed some janitors, and they said that the Steelers are taking Phil Dracovic in the first round as tight end.
You know, 4 years ago, there was an article written by an Andrew Filipponi, who I can't stand, that said the Steelers should take Phil Dracovic early in the draft. That's when he was in BC. So talk about something that didn't age well.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Scott, go ahead with your closing thoughts.
Well, it's funny. I've thrown 2 people under the bus, but I'll tell you one person I'm definitely not going to throw under the bus. How about my wife? Okay. She, to me, is the most unbelievable person I have ever seen. Not because she's just a great, sweet person all the way around, but the fact that we have 2 people that love sports the way we do, and what she does to dedicate herself to putting content on the South Florida Tribune, and now she's added sideline sports to it as well. And the fact that she's become a very versatile player in this thing. She comes on every show doing our promotion. She has her own show on Thursday nights, which I give her the freedom to do whatever she wants. You're on that show when you are able to make it. And you know what? She deserves her own show. A very intelligent person. In fact, on my Wednesday show, I had 2. Spencer Tomset and Jeff DeForest thought, Candy should get into doing voiceovers. She's that good. But Candy, to me, is a hard worker, okay? When we first got together many years ago, I said, you want to take pictures at these baseball games? Go out there and get another camera. I will not put you out there with a camera phone. What do you think the girl does? She goes over to Brandsmart and finds herself a great camera and another great lens, okay? And to me, she makes herself better. And you know what? If she feels she's not doing what you can do, you know what she'll end up doing? Okay. She embraces the challenge. She was a big help in me putting this book together from an editing standpoint, proofreading a little bit. But more importantly, she to me is, you can have a day job, but I'll tell you, when you find a hobby like this, whether it's photography, building, or a broadcaster, this woman to me is the most valuable player. And you know what, to me, having a woman as on is one thing that knows her stuff. Having a woman that could build a website, be a broadcaster, and show an incredible voice, to me, I'm proud of my wife, Candy Ebling. To me, she's number one. Okay, Candy, and the theme of this year, Candy has risen.
All right, yeah, my wife Rhonda supports me through my broadcasting here. She's been here with me through this thing here for the last 3 years, and she supported me. My anniversary is coming up in May, and it'll be 2 years that we've been married. So we got married in 2022, met in 2019. This is my second marriage. My first wife is up with the Lord, and I kind of strayed away from doing anything until I actually met Rhonda, and Rhonda's been, my soulmate and my best friend, and she supported me through this and has helped me a lot through my handicap issues and everything else. So it's good because I had a woman who didn't want any association with me at all because she was afraid she'd have to take care of me. And Rhonda takes care of me a little bit, but I take care of myself mostly. But she helps me out big time. And if it wasn't for her and my mom, I don't know where I'd be right now. So
Well,
you know,
let me tell you this. I've had a myriad of medical problems, and Candy's been there for every last one of them. And
yes,
handled my pills. So, in addition to what she does
and I've been
professionally,
there for her with her medical problems too. My wife's got a bad back issue, and you know, she's having trouble walking, and I've been there for her just like she's been there for me. So, all right,
Candy,
guys, we're gonna wrap this up here. It's been a great day here. Everybody have a good Friday, and everybody have a wonderful Easter holiday. For JT Toth, Scott Morganroth, Leo Haggerty, I'm Ralph Williams. Until next Friday, have yourself a safe week. Thank you.
Happy Easter, guys.